Live from across the tri-states, this is KHQA This Morning. It's your news now.
Kristen Aguirre joins us live now from the John Wood Community Workforce Development Center.
She's taking on a new job this morning. What's going on, Kristen?
Good morning. That's right. I'm getting a new job this morning. I'm going to be a truck driver. We're going to tell you how you can be one too, coming up after the break. You're watching KHQA This Morning.
Kristen Aguirre is out in Quincy this morning with the John Wood Community College Workforce Development Center.
She is learning all about a new career. Kristen, what are you up to?
That's right. I am learning what it takes to be a truck driver. Beep, beep. So John Wood offers a course here, and with me now is Phil Steinkamp, who's assistant professor of that course. So tell me a little bit about it.
Well, we do a 5-week training course. The first week is what we call a pre-session, where we get the permits to be able to drive the equipment. Then we work 4 weeks with the trucks and classroom to learn the regulations, rules, a little bit about what the companies would expect when you graduate and come to work for them, and then also to learn to maneuver the truck and the skills necessary to do that.
Now, when people may see truck drivers and they may think, you know, what do they really need to know besides getting on the road and knowing how to drive? But there are a lot of things that, you know, these drivers need to know before they get behind that wheel.
Well, obviously safety is paramount. That it's the first thing on our minds, and make sure the equipment is safe to operate and not going to break down or cause a problem. But probably something that most people don't expect, there are a lot of customer service skills required. This is a service industry, so the companies are expecting that our students would come out with some additional skills besides just being able to drive the truck.
Great. Well, this morning we are going to get an inside look into those skills and what drivers need to know before they get behind the wheel. And guess what, guys? I'm going to be one of those drivers this morning.
It's a good thing she's doing it like at 5:30.
And in a parking lot, we hope.
not in rush hour.
Who is she going to challenge about the truck driving?
I don't even do large SUVs.
Yeah, well,
I
best
won't be
of
in the
luck,
line
Kristen.
for that.
Stay tuned for this and see how this works out. Eastbound and down this morning.
She is at the John Wood Community College Workforce Development Center learning what it takes to be a truck driver. Kristen?
Good morning. That's right. I am learning what it takes to get on the road as a truck driver. Now, it's more than just having a license and just driving. There's a lot that people need to know. With me now is Phil Steinkamp, who is the assistant professor in the program. Now, what do we need to know before we get behind that wheel?
Well, obviously, before we get started, we have to do a vehicle inspection to make sure that it's safe to drive. You know, that the engine is in good condition, brakes are all proper adjusted, lights are working. So.
And when drivers look at a car, they see things differently than an average driver would. So when you're looking at a truck, what are some things that you should be noticing before you get in there?
Well, just walking up to it, we would look at the posture to see if it's leaning. That would tell you about the suspension, obviously carrying the heavy loads, you know, and anything else that would be out of the ordinary.
Now, you know what to look for, Phil, because you are actually a truck driver, been in the business for 30 years, and you were behind the wheel for 11 years. So what was the most difficult part about being behind the wheel?
Well, obviously, big city traffic is always something that my students, you know, fear, you know, early in their careers. But as you, you know, get more seasoned and learn to pay attention to the area around your truck, you know, it's really no different than driving in Quincy. You have to maintain the area right around your truck.
All right, well, we looked at the outside of the truck. Now we're going to look at the inside, and then coming up a little bit later in the show, we're going to get behind the wheel.
Community College Workforce Development Center this morning, taking on a new job.
Yeah, so Kristen, what's going on there?
That's right. I am learning what it takes to be a truck driver, and guys, I'm finally behind the wheel. I was so excited. I just learned how to do that. I should probably stop doing it because it's not even 6 a.m. yet. But with me now is Phil Steinkamp, who is assistant professor for the John Wood Community College truck driving program. So we learned people, students need to, you know, take a look at outside the vehicle before they get in, and now they also need to be checking inside for things before they even start up that car. So what should we be looking for?
Well, obviously inside you would look around to make sure there's no trash, any obstructions that could be a problem. Get familiar with all the controls and the gauges that would give you an early warning of what's happening with your vehicle.
Now, we know just as drivers driving every day down the street that having distractions is really hazardous to ourselves and other drivers, but why is it so critical for truck drivers?
Well, obviously we're driving a vehicle that's much larger. It doesn't react as quickly, you know, so we have to be more prepared, looking ahead and be ready to make adjustments.
Now, this course is only 5 weeks. Now, what is the starting pay for some of these drivers?
Typically, I tell my students that you should probably start out somewhere in a range of $40,000 a year.
Say what? $40,000 just for a 5-week course?
Yes.
Well, you can learn more about this course by checking out our website, connecttristates.com. Now, coming up a little bit later in the show, Phil is going to show me what I need to do to actually start this car up and start driving. So everyone beware. Well, everyone that's in this parking lot.
Just to get you off the edge of your seats, I think it's a turn of a key.
It's still Kristen.
Ryan Delk knows a lot about weather.
John Wood Community College Workforce Development Center, where Kristen Aguirre is learning to drive an 18-wheeler. It's scary stuff.
She can drive the tour bus for Jake and Caitlin someday.
Yes.
Good morning. That's right. Don't be afraid. I'm in the parking lot, but we're live here at the John Wood Workforce Development Center, and with me now is Phil Steinkamp, who is assistant professor of the truck driving program here. Now, we learned everything from what we should be looking at the outside, interior. Now it's time to start it up. So what should I do?
Okay, start with putting your left foot on the clutch and depressing it to the floor.
Okay.
And then just reach and turn the key and give it one more notch if you would.
Okay.
And go ahead and try to start it. Oh, there you go. Give it a second. Now you can go. Okay.
Okay. Should I release the clutch?
No. Okay. From there, push the D for drive. And we'll release the brakes.
Oh no.
And
what should I do? What should I do?
Okay. Step on the brake here.
This
there
one?
You go. Yeah.
Should I release the clutch?
No, just step on the brake. Okay. Now release. Go ahead and release the clutch and step back down on it if you would.
And step back down on the
clutch?
Yeah,
we have to activate the system.
Okay.
And okay, so now when you're ready to go, release the clutch and we're ready to drive.
Oh no! All right, well I'm going to continue driving. We'll do more of the course coming up a little bit later in the show. Now if you have any tips for me, tweet me out at Kristen Aguirre. Remember, this is not okay. No distracted driving, or I should always be on the road. But more details coming up on the course, coming up a little bit later in the show.
Let it ring, Kristen.
Yeah,
just let it ring.
I was going to call her out when she says tweet her. They're like, don't tweet her. She'll get them after she's done driving.
She does have Mark in the car to read her text messages for her.
Right.
It's still a little scary even without her texting.
Of an 18-wheeler this morning.
Threatened some homes, some drivers, some cars, anything in her path, really. She is at John Wood Community College Workforce Development Center taking on an 18-wheeler for the
learning about JWCC's truck driving training course. So with me now is Phil Steinkamp, and here if you could see him, and he's been showing us what we need to know throughout the course all morning. So now I'm finally behind the wheel. Let's keep driving, Phil.
We're ready to go.
What do I need to do now?
Okay, just gently release the clutch, and now the brake also. Off the brake, and away we go.
Woo, woo,
okay,
woo.
good.
Now this truck driving is way more harder than I had thought. You know, I think a lot of people think that just getting behind the wheel is like getting behind your car, but it is totally different.
Well, you're dealing with a much larger vehicle and obviously more things to pay attention to. Go ahead and turn, bring it around a little sharper.
A little bit sharper.
Because it'll take a lot of space, and we need to come around before we run over Tracy over there.
All morning long, we've been following Kristen Aguirre, who is out at John Wood Community College Workforce Development Center in Quincy.
Yeah, for a checklist of driving an 18-wheeler, she can check that baby off.
That's right. I did get behind the wheel, and I was able to drive this truck. Now, you can check it out on YouTube and see how I did. I did have one cone casualty, but He's okay. He's surviving. Well, with me now is Phil Steinkamp, who is the assistant professor here with the truck driving training course. Now, if people want to get involved with this course, what do they need to do?
Well, they need to contact the school, and you know, we can send you information or get you signed up for the class that starts August 19th.
Yep, and the class is just around the corner. Now, what are some things that people need to know before they head into the classroom?
Well, not a whole lot. We start from day one with learning to get the permits and stuff, so primarily just get signed up and come see us.
Now, this class is only 5 weeks long, and after students leave this course, what can they typically make?
If they go over the road as a driver, we you know, they probably should earn around $40,000 the first year.
Now, you were behind the road for about 11 years, and you've been in the business for about 30 years. What was your favorite thing about being behind the wheel?
Just driving. I mean, being out by yourself, if you will. You don't have a boss looking over your shoulder or a foreman walking along behind you all day long. So
now, if you could give a tip to some of your students that are just going to be heading out onto the road or getting those first-time jobs, what would you tell them?
Well, just you have to be responsible, be prepared to be your own boss somewhat, because nobody is going to be looking over your shoulder. You're going to be you know, given a job to do and expected to complete.
All morning we've been live here at the John Wood Workforce Development Center learning about its truck driving training course. If you're interested in learning about the course, the next one kicks off August 19th. It's a 5-week course. You can learn more about it by checking out KHQA News at 5 and visiting our website, connecttristates.com.